and welcome to another SkaredCast Battle Report. Today, I'm here at the Basement Collective.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Make sure you check their YouTube channel out. Link down below, sub. It is Maelstrom of War, Deadlock, Vanguard Strike Deployment, Demons of Khorne, with a Forge-World Khitan versus the Dark Eldar. One faction armies. Okay, there's objectives here, here by the cathedral, in the rocks, that lava pool, this rock here, and I have chosen this Vanguard deployment. It is going to get bloody. Let's start the game. Okay, deployment. The Khorne Deamon have deployed 1, 2, 3 Mauler Fiends. The Kaidakan, the big Khorne walking knight. Unit of cultists by objective 6. Unit of cultists in the back in the ruins. He's scouting his dogs up as we speak. I've infiltrated some mandrakes in the corner, and both my flanks are anchored by Reaver jet bikes. I've got some suicidal Cabalite warriors that are ready to give up blood tithe points and a couple of venoms. Make sure you stay tuned for the Tactical Corner at the end of the battle report, where I talk about the tactics that I used throughout this game. Also, check out the Patreon page and become a patron supporter today in order to help the channel grow. Right now, we are trying to get a new camera, so help us out. Okay, on to the turn. End of Dark Eldar, turn 1. We moved the screen up, and I scored 3 objectives out of 6. Secure objective 5, that's on the flank with this venom. I also got 2 points for behind enemy lines, as my Reaver jet bikes and mandrakes have taken behind enemy lines on the flank. And I did get ascendancy, but I only scored 1 point. The Khorne Deamon took some casualties, losing a dog, losing 3 members of the cultist unit in the back, and losing 1 member of that cultist unit. Both cultist units went to ground. And the objectives are behind enemy lines, secure objective 6 and 4, which he will be getting, and trying to kill an enemy unit that has holding an objective as well. Okay, moving on to KDK, turn 1. Turn 1 for the KDK. They have killed my Lamian for first blood and killing a unit that had an objective, which has given him 2 points. He also captured both that objective and that objective for another 2 points, and he has behind enemy lines for another point, which is 5 points to the KDK. Other than that, lots of stuff moved forward, and these Cabalite warriors got charged and are running away. My reserves, only the Razorwing and the 5-unit of Cabalite warriors, are not coming on, thanks to air superiority. Everything else is arriving. My objectives are psychological warfare, fear and terror, so I'm going to be trying to target some cultists. I also have to try and hold the line, so I have to kill this Mauler Fiend and capture that objective, thanks to Trophy Hunter, while trying to kill his Warlord. So I'm going to probably just go for that objective, because I have to kill that Mauler Fiend anyway. And secure objective 1, that just happens to be the one that my Lamian was beside. Okay, moving on to Dark Eldar turn 2. At Dark Eldar turn 2, the screen moved up. I killed 3 dogs and put 1 wound on another dog with shooting. We had the Mandrakes advance forwards and force the unit of cultists to go to ground again, but they passed their morale test. We had the Dark Artisan deep strike in the backfield and flame these cultists to no effect. While my reserves arrived here, the Scourge, the Ravager, knocked out that Mauler Fiend for behind enemy, hold the line, and I put another hull point on this Mauler Fiend in the middle. That has netted me another 3 points, and I'm keeping the fear and terror and psychological warfare just out of spite, because I really feel that I can make them run eventually, or fail some sort of test at some point. Now we're moving on to turn 2 for the Khorne Deamon. They have 2 blood tithe points, and they have quite a few different objectives, like securing this objective and issuing a challenge, which he won't be able to do this turn because I have no characters in any of my units.
No characters in this squad right here?
None.
That's
whatsoever. Okay, moving on to turn 2 Khorne Deamon. End of turn 2, we had some Scourge die for some shooting. The dogs ate through the screen here, so they are now free. And the Mauler Fiends took objective and objective. In my turn, I have to try and make him fail a morale test. I have to kill an enemy unit in shooting, and I have to take objective 6 back here. So, it's tight. It's 7 points to the Dark Eldar, 7 points to the KDK, and they have 5 Blood Tithe points, so he could start summoning stuff soon. Let's get into the thick of it. Dark Eldar turn 3. The Dark Eldar moved back, shot into the dogs, killing a few of the dogs, together with the Mandrakes. They are now soul blazed as well. The demons are going to be summoning some Blood Crushers of Khorne. The Heat Lancers failed to do any damage against the Kaigan, failing every penetration roll. And I did kill the Central Mauler Fiend, while the Cultist unit ran away thanks to the Dark Artisan, then got charged and munched by the Dark Artisan. That venom captured the objective in the trees, and the Reaver Jetbikes in the back killed the 2 Cultists here, which did give me 4 more points, bringing my total up to 11 to the Chaos's 7 points. So now we're moving on to KDK turn 3. KDK turn 3. The big guy here shot a unit of Cabalite Warriors and killed it, and its special rule allows it to charge something else. So it charged into the Heat Lance Scourge. They survived and they have run away, and it didn't catch them. And then we have a unit of Blood Crushers was summoned, and this flank moved up to hurt these guys here, while the Khorne dogs have moved up towards the Dark Eldar presence in the backfield. KDK gets 1 more point. It is 8 points to 11, and my objectives this turn are Domination, Death by 1,000 Cuts, and Pain in all its forms. Very Dark Eldar-y style objectives. On to turn 4. A Domination. I got Domination, and I control every objective. The Reaver Jetbikes boosted 48 inches from that side of the table. I have a Lamian taking that objective. I have a Venom here taking that objective. I have the Scourge that rallied taking that objective. And I have a unit of Cabalite Warriors over there taking that objective, while the Venom they were in boosted to take that objective. I did charge into combat here. Killed all but 1 dog, thanks to the Razewing that came in and provided some blast firepower. All in all, this seems like a 15-point swing to 8 points might seal the fate as the Dark Eldar dominate the battlefield. This guy shot the Haywire guys, charged into a Venom, blew it up. Then in combat, nothing happened. This was just a big slap fest. While the Blood Crushers charged in and murdered all the Jetbikes. And this Mauler Fiend charged in and killed the Raider for another 2 points to the KDK, bringing their total up to 10 points and mine to 15 points. And with that, the Demons of Khorne vanish into the warp as the killing was great. And it is game. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Make sure you check out the Basement Collective YouTube channel and all the other YouTube channels that have to do with Spiky Bits and the Long War. Check out the Patreon page to support the channel, and go sub, like, comment, share, show the world that you care. And thanks a lot. Stay tuned for the Tactical Corner, where we go over little tactical things that happen throughout the game and see all the cool pictures as well. This is Skari, your grateful host up from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, at the Basement Collective, signing off. This is Skari, out. And welcome to another Tactical Corner. Khorne Deamonkin versus Dark Eldar. I ended up going to play with a good friend of mine, and he at the Basement Collective, and he decided to bring Khorne Deamonkin. Very fast, hard-hitting army. Now, I decided to run pure Dark Eldar with a Coven formation. This is 1,500 points. And it always surprises me on how much the Dark Eldar army can fit into small point values in number of units. Make sure you check the links down below and take a look at the lists in more detail. Now, The game itself was played on a lava-style terrain board, so some decent line-of-sight blockers, and we were playing a Maelstrom of War mission, which is a deadlock, which you start with 6 objectives and work your way down to 1 objective. Now, Eldar and Dark Eldar do have an advantage in this mission, simply because with the high number of objective secured units, we can usually get some objectives early in the game when we have 6 cards, and we have the maneuverability to get to further away objectives more rapidly than other armies in general. So the tactic was very simple. He scouted up with his Khorne dogs, which means that he wasn't going to be able to charge with them on the first turn. This allowed me to use my screening Cabalite warriors to push up into the middle of the table and then create a screen. Now this screen prevented the main force from pushing through closer to the objectives in my side of the table. And this was a huge part of the strategy. Now, I knew the Maul of Fiends were going to get in, and I knew that the dogs were going to kill stuff eventually. But really preventing them from moving up in that pivotal second turn was huge. Now, I did overextend one part of the screen, and it got charged by a Maul of Fiend with a very good long-range charge. Sadly, they ended up dying. They did rally and come back later, but I could have prevented that charge with a little bit of smarter movement. And then my second turn was spent really penning in those that big unit of fast-moving dogs in that corner, using the jet bikes, sacrificing them, using the warriors, sacrificing them to that side of the table. Now this meant that I was able to focus fire on the elements of the army that I needed to destroy, namely some of the Maul of Fiends with my reserves. Now using my reserves to pinpoint the Maul of Fiends and bring them down really kind of helped my army in general, while I was able to get the points that I needed. Now the Khorne Deamonkin had to deal with the Scourge. The Scourge were probably one of their main threats, and they are really small units, so it's not very hard to kill tank hunting Scourge. But the Webway Portal Dark Artisan formation proved to be a very useful tool in the backfield whatsoever. Now, my screen did completely die, but it had bought me some very precious time in stopping that big unit of dogs getting closer to my lines. And of course, using the mandrakes in the back top corner really kind of forced my opponent into a dilemma, because it was only a 30-point unit, and he could have tossed a whole unit up against the mandrakes and been completely out of position, or continued to press towards my objectives. Now, the big Forge World like Khorne Knight thing was nasty, but not. He could have been more aggressive with it, but having multiple small units doesn't really show how effective those big knight models can be. He did end up summoning a unit with his Blood Tithe points, which came in handy later in the game to really solidify his control of a table quarter. And on the other side, his Kaitan, or whatever it's called, did end up murdering most of my army. So it was a pretty big bloodbath. But the Khorne Deamonkin were having a hard time getting any of the objectives that they had pulled, and he even was forced to pull the whole Khorne dog unit back to deal with the Dark Artisan formation that was just rampaging in his backlines. Now, the Dark Artisan formation proved to be more than enough a match for the Khorne dogs, and I was able to just completely dominate the Maelstrom game. So it just shows that early in the game, with a variety of key tactical moves and reserves, you can play, as long as you're forcing your opponent to play your game. In this case, Khorne Deamonkin, very fast, very hard-hitting army. And if I would have overextended or gotten a little bit too confident, it would have been very easy for my opponent to multi-charge a bunch of units with the Khorne dogs and then just systematically destroy my entire army.
So all in all, it was a really fun game. Make sure you check out the Basement Collective on YouTube with the link down below. Please support my videos on Patreon for as low as $1 per month. You can help out the videos and gain access to exclusive videos and content. Stay tuned for some upcoming content preview.